Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's 4 a.m. bright and early here in Connecticut on the East Coast. All right, I want to talk about finally. There's evidence. We have evidence of the supposed election tampering. I had to for the last couple hours. I've sat through several videos, listening to Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and other people that I just cannot freaking stand. But I looked at this video objectively. Like I've said before, if there's any evidence, if there's any real evidence of cheating, I want to know about it. I anybody that cheats doesn't deserve to win. Deserves to be caught out on it. And if there's any cheating, I want to know. So I watched this video over and over, the infamous Georgia suitcase video. Okay, so to be honest with you guys, it's in Georgia. I don't know which exact district it's in, and I really don't care. It's a black and white video. It shows it looks like a lot of black tables, a long black table. And I guess these are from video cameras that are up in the counting area. Now, I think I can rightly assume that video cameras are going to be in all the counting areas all across the country in every state, right? To watch the counting of the votes, I imagine. And I imagine that the people that are counting know that these videos are there, all right? These are things I think we can safely assume, facts. Okay, so the video, now Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity and everybody talk about, now supposedly some person with blonde hair and braids, the way they talk about her, I assume she must be associated with the Democrats. That she put a table in a particular, the table's in the middle of the room. Now, the people describing this, it seems nefarious that this person put this table in the middle of the room. I don't know. All right, so what we see on this video is it looks like the counting, it looks like it's winding down. It looks like the votes, there's the envelope, and then that gets opened up, and then there's the vote inside, right? And I think they have people called cutters that open up the initial envelope, and then there's the ballot inside. From what I understand, the people that cut the initial envelope open, they were done, and they left, and a lot of people left with them at this time. Now, you see people pull out suitcases. Now, from what I understand, all the ballots were in these boxes, suitcases. The people describing these videos use certain language about, the black table being put in the middle of the room, and somehow that's supposed to be nefarious. And these now, so some people seem to leave. Now, these boxes, suitcases, if you want to call them suitcases, are pulled out. Now, apparently all the votes are put in these containers, suitcases, whatever you want to call them. They're pulled out, and I believe this is from like 10 to 1 in the morning. For about 3 hours, these are counted with, it seems to be less people in the room. Okay, this is what I saw with my eyes, okay? The way they describe this, it's nefarious. It's like, okay, everybody was shoved out of the room. You go home, everybody go home. And just the Democrats and Biden supporters were left there to pull out these hidden suitcases. And they took them over, and they sat there for hours, counting them out and tallying them with nobody watching. And this is the evidence of cheating. Okay, I'm pretty sure I laid this out exactly how I understood. Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson, everybody else laid it out, okay? Have you guys ever heard of Occhams Razor? All right, it's real simple. If you see something, okay, say a fence, you come across a broken fence in a field, all right? Now, you have two assumptions, assumption A and assumption B. That assumption A is that an albino bull moose came running across the field being chased by a swarm of bees, ran into the fence and knocked it loose. Or assumption B, over time a nail rusted, the fence weathered and it fell apart. Okay, those are your two assumptions. Now, Occam's razor is says that usually the answer with the least amount of assumptions is the correct answer, meaning B. Meaning that if you assume this and assume that, usually the simplest answer is the correct answer, all right? So don't assume a lot. Okay, keep that in mind. Now, I look at this video, and the first thing that I'm going to ask, first of all, if you're going to cheat, if you're going to rob a store, okay, so you're going to break in a bank at night, break into the safe, are you going to sit there and count the money for 3 hours and then run out? No. They're making several assumptions here. They're saying that these suitcases were hidden under this table all day, and they're only pulled out after everybody shooed out of the room, and that these people sat there for 3 hours counting these boxes. Now, there's right off the bat, even if I wasn't a Trump hater, right off the bat, there's things that I don't understand there. Okay, they're saying that these boxes were underneath the table the whole time. All right, if you were going to cheat, there'd be a lot simpler ways to do it. The biggest question I have is, say Trump is leading and they want to shoo everybody out of the room and fix the vote, and they'd bring out Biden ballots. Wouldn't they just have these ballots hidden somewhere, first of all, where they can't be seen by a camera, like in a car, and bring them in a back door or something? This is the big question I got. Why would they sit there for 3 hours counting ballots? Why would they count ballots? If these are fake or fraudulent or whatever ballots by illegal people or whatever, why are they sitting there for 3 hours counting them? If they're trying to, so Trump supporters would say, well, they're trying to make it look legitimate for the cameras. Well, if they were trying to make it look legitimate for the cameras, why didn't they just leave the people in the room? It doesn't make sense to me. There's so many assumptions there's the assumptions that these black suitcases have been under the table the whole day, that the table was put there for nefarious purposes. It's assuming, there's no sound to this, it's assuming that people were shooed out of the room and weren't allowed back in. There's too many assumptions here. The thing that just does not make sense to me is why at all of a sudden at 10 o'clock they would push everybody out of the room. And then the big thing that I don't understand is why they would sit there for 3-4 hours and count illegal fraudulent ballots. If they're fraudulent, why would you sit there and count them? If you're going to commit fraud or a crime or something, you'd want to do it as quickly as possible, in as little view as possible, but especially as quickly as possible, which kind of rules out sitting there for 3 hours and counting something that you've already rigged. It doesn't make sense to me. And they know this is on camera. So it doesn't make sense. If they're going to somehow inject these in there, it would have to, you would think they would do it quickly and out of camera range. That would make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't see how it makes sense to Trump supporters unless they want it to make sense. Occhams Razor. And I don't expect a whole lot of Trump supporters to know what that is. All right, just some thoughts from me. My honest initial question was, why would they sit there for 3 hours counting fraudulent ballots? They knew they're fraudulent. They would know if they set it up beforehand, they would know what's in there. If they were trying to make it look legitimate, why wouldn't they leave some people in the room while they were doing this? Why wouldn't they do it off camera? It doesn't make sense to me, especially counting for 3 hours. Why would you count fraudulent ballots that you set up to be fraudulent? It's 3 hours of wasted time. It doesn't make any sense to me. That's just me and Occam's Razor. All right, you guys have a good Saturday.